Can this be the local bottom for Bitcoin, or it is just another trap? Now, if you look at this in the last video, I actually explained why I believe that from here we should see a bounce up here, close above, and then potentially a reversal coming from anywhere down here under the 50%. But there is one overhang, and that is the stock market. And I'm going to talk about in this very short video on why I think the local bottom might be in for Bitcoin, but how could the stock market and the situation at the stock market could actually sabotage that, and how I'm trading the whole thing. If you don't know who I am, my name is 𝗬𝗬𝗓. I bring you these updates, been here since 2016. We're called the 100x Club because I make 4% a month, compounded in 10 years is 100x your wealth. Yes, you can go and ChatGPT that. So that sounds good. Subscribe to the channel. I literally don't waste your time. It's 5 to 10 minutes every single day. Banger. Let's get going. So very important. I've been detailing here on the show. The shows are designed that you have to come back every day. And so I've been telling you on this show 2 days ago that I believe we have to come down to the 50% and then have somewhat of a market structure shift and bounce off of that level. Now, we are below, the market is below the 50% leg, coming off of this 15-minute higher high marked right here. It's like a V-shaped recovery. Again, if you've been watching, you know what I'm talking about. It's a V-shaped recovery and then longed there. And I do believe that we had to come back down here to the 50% to be able to continue with this power. Now, we did come back, and that's an amazing news. The only thing I would need to see is a V-shaped recovery or a market structure shift. The problem is this is one of the biggest problems. There are a couple of problems, but one of them is this. This is the worst the stock market has seen since the dot-com bubble. Over the last 8 sessions, meaning eight work days, or when the market was open, 115 stocks in the S&P 500, which is the 500 largest companies in America, have declined 7% or more in a single day. Okay? It is absolutely crazy. The weekly 821 cross has called every major market correction off the cycle, and almost nobody watches it right now. COVID crash, 2022 bear market, and tariff flush. Now, very important, I don't really pay attention to all these EMAs, but this does not look good, especially if I look at this. The S&P has been this year, right? So this period here is from December. If you look at this, for the past 2 months, the S&P has been hovering around these levels. This is not good, and it definitely does not show strength, especially if you look at this big red candle, 2.5%. If you look at the Nasdaq here. If you look at the Nasdaq is down about 6% from its all-time highs. And I told you, if you're coming back for the shows, I told you that I do believe that we need to get a correction this year. I do believe that early in Q1, Q2, we need to get at least a 15% correction on the stock market. That would take us back perfectly at around 150 on the Nasdaq, and about, let me just pull this up here, and about down to 5,800 on the S&P. This would be sufficient enough for the market, but then the problem comes with Bitcoin, because if the Nasdaq and the S&P starts correcting from here, boy, we're going down to 45, 50,000 Bitcoin. This is the largest capitulation in Bitcoin history, beating 2021, the 2020, the bear market followed by the 2021 rally. 3 out of 4 bear markets has bottomed in March, meaning if I'm right, and if we get the correction in Q1, Q2, there is a way for us to recover from this in a good way. But very important. Follows my brother here is writing and saying, too many traders try to force and read the market, trading the PA they want to see instead of the PA in front of them. And I said, the market does not care about what you want. The market gives you what you deserve. It's super important. And some of the people said, oh my God, it's, slapping me. Someone said here, Alex said here, feels like a slap in my face. You know, I know it's harsh, but it is what it is. The market will not care about what you want. So here's what I said. I said I've been shorting. I left this voice note. By the way, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts. This is actually me. Yeah, parking my car in the forest next to the road with pretty fast slide. This is why I haven't done a show yesterday. So thank you for your messages. Everything is fine, as you see. It's been just a rough evening. Happily, I was alone. You know, I usually say, please play stupid games and get stupid prices. So that's what you get. I've been driving for 15 years. I never had a crash, not even a bit. So this is, I'm not saying it's deserved, but you know, it was due. So anyway, so I didn't drop a video yesterday, but I actually left this voice note here for you, and I said why I'm shorting and how I explained in the show why you just simply keep playing at it. So this short is basically printing here. This is what I have, about 19%. I am going to leave this short open. I'm going to reduce my stop loss all the way down here. Like this is going to be coming down my stop loss at 68,449. The reason is because you can look at the market and this is a very clear high. If we break above 68,400, that is going to be the actual high. It's a V-shaped recovery on the 1 hour chart, and I'm going to heavy long that. But again, always paying attention to the stock market, because if the S&P and the Nasdaq starts correcting, this is going to be. So the question really is this the bottom for crypto? If I look at this structure, I can just say, forget the short, because we got in the short. If you watch the show, if you've been here, oh, by the way, this here, if you don't know, this is the community. Free. Link in the description. Join in. You lose literally nothing. But anyway, I've been telling the community short and on the channel, forget that now. If we look at the 15-minute chart, there is no 1 hour market structure shift, by the way. So I could easily see this was just a retrace to the 50% here, was just a retrace, and we go lower. Absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. Even if we break above here, absolutely possible. Okay, just so you know, the trend is down. The best trade is always with the trend. So timing this breakout here, even if it happens close above there, it is risky. But I do believe that the build-up liquidity, the 15-minute market structure shift here, that you see a V-shaped recovery coming off from a weekly level, holding a weekly level, that is actually very important. So if I consider this here, and we're bouncing off of this region, I think it makes a lot of sense for this to start pushing. If that does happen, and we do start pushing, I do think that can be going all the way up to. That can be going all the way up to, you know, possibly up to this 80, maybe up here. Yeah, all the way up to the 90s, because that's the daily equilibrium. No, what is the daily? It's 75, sorry. 75 is the daily. So it's between 75 and 92. This is the region where I would be targeting. But this all is required for the stock market to hold. Now, also, why do I believe it rally? Because if you look at the weekly chart on Bitcoin, and then delete all this for now, you see that we have a decent close below on the weekly. However, if you look at the total market cap, we did not have a decent close below on the weekly chart. And that means you always want to look at the total market cap, and the total market cap is holding. That means that, yet again, I do believe we should see a push coming into the weekend. And that would require a higher high formed on the lower time frame. So you can look at the total market cap as well. Higher high would be forming up here on the hourly chart. Higher high would be forming up here at 2.31 trillion, or on Bitcoin, again, at 68,400. So I could actually even take profits now because you know, I just think the reversal is happening. But the reason why I'm not taking profits is because of this. The market doesn't care what I think. The market cares about what the market gives me what I deserve. So if I have to play the chart, I'm playing the chart. The chart is downtrend. I do believe we will close above there. I do believe we will have a reversal, but the market doesn't give a fuck. It just does what it does. And then if it closes above, I'm going to change my thesis. I'm going to close my short positions. Until then, considering the stock market, unfortunately, we are definitely going lower. TLDR, stock market has not been this bad for a long time. QQQ and S&P, the Nasdaq and the S&P most probably is going to correct. There's elevator down and stairs up on Bitcoin as well. I do believe if we have a close above 68,512 on Bitcoin, but rather 231 trillion on the total market cap, I do believe that can give us a little bit of a rally. And that rally could go all the way to 75 and 92,000. I do think that it is worth longing and riding that. That's going to be one of my big trades on Bitcoin as well. And yeah, that said, guys, come back for another one tomorrow. I hope that you are doing great. Thanks for your messages. I'm fine. I'm strong. I'm going skiing next week as well. I'm going to keep you updated here and in the Telegram. It's crucial to join in. And also, I wanted to tell you that there is massive campaigns running with Toobit. So if you want to trade on a decent exchange, non-KYC, available worldwide, based in Singapore, partnered officially with La Liga. And if you want to do some cool shit with me, which is coming very soon, just simply use our link down in the description, sign up and start trading. Truly appreciate you. I'll see you next one. Check this video out. It's going to be a strategy that I use called the MD. You might learn from it. See you tomorrow.